six-figure grant from the Alzheimer's Association. There were over 200 applicants across the country, but only 41 grants were awarded. The money intended to help with respite care for caregivers of people suffering from dementia. The Alzheimer's Association received $25 million from the Department of Health and Human Services in 2024, and that will fund 4 years worth of these grants targeting care for caregivers. And we welcome in Carrie Elseman. She is the executive director of the Fox Valley Memory Project. So this grant is for respite care. How do you define respite care? Why is it so important?
Yeah, so we provide respite care to those caregivers who are caring for those living with dementia or memory loss. Alzheimer's disease is a popular term for that. And the term I like to use is rest a bit. So it's an opportunity for these caregivers to drop their loved one off and at a safe place, an understanding place, but then for them to get rest. So what that rest could look like would be doctor's appointments, going home and taking a nap, going for lunch with a friend, going for a walk. Caregiving does take a toll, and we want to make sure that that caregiver is taken care of just as much as the individual living with the disease process.
Well, you certainly did that to the tune of over 10,500 hours of respite care you provided in 2024 through the project. But this new grant is going to fund a new program. So you're calling it the Thrive program. So how does this fit into this umbrella of respite care?
Right. So we are we provide respite in 4 different counties. So Wapaka, Calumet, Outagamie, and Winnebago County. After COVID, we saw this kind of caregiver crisis and this need for rest, this need for a break. And so we had a wait list on our current MindWorks class. And with that, we had opened up another class, and then we opened another class. And right now we have 11 different classes that happen throughout those 4 counties. So we are not a licensed adult day center. So we do not provide care or do any medication management. We simply do more of a social model for those more in the early to mid stage. And so we created this idea of, let's offer a longer class and let's do it on Fridays because there's not many options in the area around Fridays. And so we came up with a new name because we want it to be more making more connections. So Thrive, where connections and joy take root. And so we're going to be doing a lot of different programming as far as community service projects. So we want to make sure we incorporate raising awareness and reducing the stigma of dementia as well through this class.
All right, so folks who are listening to this interview and thought, this is going to be for me, I really could use something on Friday. What's the best way for them to learn how to get involved in this, how to participate? Are there any fees included in this?
Yeah. So you can contact us directly at foxvalleymemoryproject.org or give us a call at 920-225-1711. And we can get, you'll talk with a person and we'll get you registered and really do kind of a little small evaluation to see if you're appropriate or your loved one's appropriate. And really it's $20. So $20 for 5 hours of respite. And that covers the food, and that's the rest is covered by the grant.
So 5 hours, you mentioned you want to do something longer. How does that compare to some of these other classes?
Yeah, so these other classes are 3 hours long.
Okay, so an extra 2 hours out there for the caregivers, which can go a long way. You mentioned, Carrie, I'm sorry, you mentioned the need here, and the Alzheimer's Association put out their 2025 report recently. Wisconsin, right now, the number is 11% of residents 65 and older are living with some form of dementia. That mirrors the national numbers, which are also 11%. So where do you see the need going in the communities you serve?
Well, the need is only going to rise. Those living 65 years and older, the population of that age group is doubled, tripled within the last few years, and it's only going to continue to grow. And with our testing and evaluations, the diagnosis, we're hoping that people can get diagnosed earlier so they can get on that kind of social model of care instead of looking at, a medication, because there is no cure. Moving forward with this growing population, there just needs to be so much more that needs to be done. And so, we're very ecstatic to see that the Alzheimer's Association is stepping up and providing this funding to multiple different locations. But there needs to be a lot more that needs to be done to provide that respite to these caregivers and take care of these caregivers, because it's not just a one caregiver to one person with dementia. It could be 5 people, it could be 10 people caring. And so the mental health of those caregivers are very important. And those are the individuals out there in our workforce trying to raise a family, but also juggling aging parents.
Carrie, you talk about the social aspect of dealing with or helping these folks that have this disease. Nothing was more social than we saw at Mile of Music when, on a positive note, the choir that you guys, this is one of your programs at the Fox Valley Memory Project, a choir filled with people who are dealing with this disease for the very first time performing at Mile of Music. What's the feedback been from that?
It was absolutely amazing, Chris. It was kind of one of those things where you just had to be there, but we were invited to sing at the Mile of Music and kind of kick off the first day.
Right.
We weren't quite sure how it was going to go. We were in the lobby of the Paper Valley Hotel. We had a crowd of people,
Yeah.
and we were just so ecstatic. And not only that, but our pianist, he wrote and produced a original song for our chorus, and they sang it, and we are going to continue to sing the song. It's When Words Are Lost, Music Speaks. That's the title of the song, and so it's beautiful. This chorus movement is going to be blowing up because we're hoping that we can spread it far and wide, because music does wonders to those living with dementia, as it's one of the last things to go in that brain process. And so we were so glad to just be out there, incorporated within the community, and just this large audience that we had to just show that people living with dementia and these caregivers still have a lot to give to our society.
How many more singers have you gained since that time?
Well, I'm not sure about that number, but the popularity is rising. And you know what's great about that chorus is that some of those members are past, or they are past caregivers, and their loved one has passed on, but they still come back to sing in the chorus, and they'll be a partner to somebody that maybe shows up that's living alone. And so the concept of community within that chorus is just phenomenal. And so we heard from Mile of Music and said, next year we'll put you in the ballroom.
Oh.
So we were like, yes. So we are looking forward to getting even a bigger crowd, and just there are people from out of the state, that attended Mile of Music that were just like, what is this, and how do we get this in our state? And so that's what we want to do. We want to raise that awareness and spread the movement.
Well, you certainly did with that performance. We look forward to the performance next year at Mile of Music. Carrie, thanks so much for the time, and congratulations on the grant. Good luck with it.
Absolutely. Thanks, Chris. Appreciate it.